Dessert. Dessert is a course that concludes a meal. The course consists of sweet foods, such as confections, and possibly a beverage, such as dessert wine and liqueur. In some parts of the world, such as much of Central and Western Africa, and most parts of China, there's no tradition of a dessert course to conclude a meal. The term dessert can apply to many confections, such as biscuits, cakes, cookies, custards, gelatins, ice cream, pastries, pies, puddings, sweet soups, tarts, and fruit salad. Fruit is also commonly found in dessert courses because of its naturally occurring sweetness. Some cultures sweeten foods that are more commonly savory to create desserts. The word dessert originated from the French word desservir, meaning to clear the table. Its first known use was in 1600 in a health education manual entitled Natural and Artificial Directions for Health, written by William Vaughan. In his A History of Dessert, 2013, Michael Crondall explains that it refers to the fact that dessert was served after the table had been cleared of other dishes. The term dates from the 14th century, but attained its current meaning around the beginning of the 20th century, when a service à la Française, setting a variety of dishes on the table at the same time, was replaced with service à la Russe, presenting a meal in courses. The word dessert is most commonly used for this course in Australia, Canada, Ireland, New Zealand, and the United States, while it is one of several synonyms, including pudding, sweet, and afters in the United Kingdom and some other Commonwealth countries. Sweets were fed to the gods in ancient Mesopotamia and ancient India and other ancient civilizations. Dried fruit and honey were probably the first sweeteners used in most of the world, but the spread of sugar cane around the world was essential to the development of dessert. Sugar cane was grown and refined in India before 500 BC and was crystallized, making it easy to transport by AD 500. Sugar and sugar cane were traded, making sugar available to Macedonia by 300 BC and China by AD 600. In the Indian subcontinent, the Middle East, and China, sugar has been a staple of cooking and desserts for over 1,000 years. Sugarcane and sugar were little known and rare in Europe until the 12th century or later, when the Crusades and then colonization spread its use. Europeans began to manufacture sugar in the Middle Ages, and more sweet desserts became available. Even then, sugar was so expensive, usually only the wealthy could indulge on special occasions. The first apple pie recipe was published in 1381. The earliest documentation of the term cupcake was in 75 recipes for pastry, cakes, and sweetmeats, in 1828 in Eliza Leslie's Receipts Cookbook. The Industrial Revolution in Europe, and later America, caused desserts, and food in general, to be mass-produced, processed, preserved, canned, and packaged. Frozen foods, including desserts, became very popular starting in the 1920s, when freezing emerged. These processed foods became a large part of diets in many industrialized nations. Many countries have desserts and foods distinctive to their nations or region. Sweet desserts usually contain cane sugar, palm sugar, brown sugar, honey, or some types of syrup, such as molasses, maple syrup, treacle, or corn syrup. Other common ingredients in Western-style desserts are flour or other starches, cooking fats such as butter or lard, dairy, eggs, salt, acidic ingredients such as lemon juice, and spices and other flavoring agents such as chocolate, peanut butter, fruits, and nuts. The proportions of these ingredients, along with the preparation methods, play a major part in the consistency, texture, and flavor of the end product. Sugars contribute moisture and tenderness to baked goods. Flour or starch components serves as a protein and gives the dessert structure. Fats contribute moisture and can enable the development of flaky layers in pastries and pie crusts. The dairy products in baked goods keep the desserts moist. Many desserts also contain eggs in order to form custard or to aid in the rising and thickening of a cake-like substance. Egg yolks specifically contribute to the richness of desserts. Egg whites can act as a leavening agent or provide structure. Further innovation in the healthy eating movement has led to more information being available about vegan and gluten-free substitutes for the standard ingredients, as well as replacements for refined sugar. Desserts can contain many spices and extracts to add a variety of flavors. Salts and acids are added to desserts to balance sweet flavors and create a contrast in flavors. Some desserts are coffee flavored. For example, an iced coffee souffle or coffee biscuits. Alcohol can also be used as an ingredient to make alcoholic desserts. Dessert consists of variations of tasted textures and appearances. Desserts can be defined as a usually sweeter course that concludes a meal. This definition includes a range of courses, ranging from fruits or dried nuts to multi-ingredient cakes and pies. Many cultures have different variations of dessert. In modern times, the variations of desserts have usually been passed down or come from geographical regions. This is one cause for the variation of desserts. These are some major categories in which desserts can be placed. Cakes. Cakes are sweet, tender breads made with sugar and delicate flour. Cakes can vary from light, airy sponge cakes to dense cakes with less flour. Common flavorings include dried, candied, or fresh fruit, nuts, cocoa, or extracts. They may be filled with fruit preserves or dessert sauces, like pastry cream, iced with buttercream or other icings, and decorated with marzipan, piped borders, or candied fruit. Cake is often served as a celebratory dish on ceremonial occasions, for example, weddings, anniversaries, and birthdays. Small-sized cakes have become popular in the form of cupcakes and petit fours. Puddings. Puddings are thickened with starches such as cornstarch or tapioca. Small cakes and pastries. A batched dough between a cake and pastry by the mix of ingredients. An Old French biscuit, commonly spelt in English as biscuit, is a derivation of Latin for twice baked. A Dutch koekje, commonly spelt in English as cookie, is a derivation of cake-e, meaning little cake. This form of dough can have a texture that is crisp, hard, chewy, or soft. In the UK, a biscuit is the former two, and a cookie is typically the latter. Examples include a ginger nut, shortbread biscuit, and chocolate chip cookie. Other small cakes and pastries can also be counted as under these terms, due to their size and relative similarity to cookies and biscuits, such as Jaffa cakes and eclair cakes. Confection. Confection, also called candy, sweets, or lollies, features sugar or a honey as a principal ingredient. Many involve sugar heated into crystals with subtle differences. Dairy and sugar-based include caramel, fudge, and toffee or taffy. There are multiple forms of egg and sugar meringues and similar confections. Unheated sugar coagulate into icings, preservatives, and sauces with other ingredients. Deep fried. Many cuisines include a dessert made of deep-fried, starch-based batter or dough. In many countries, a donut is a flour-based batter that has been deep-fried. It is sometimes filled with custard or jelly. Fritters are fruit pieces in a thick batter that have been deep-fried. Gulab jamun is an Indian dessert made of milk solids kneaded into a dough, deep-fried and soaked in honey. Churros are a deep-fried and sugared dough that is eaten as dessert or a snack in many countries. Donuts are most famous for being a trademark favorite of fictional character Homer Simpson from the animated television series The Simpsons. Frozen. Ice cream, gelato, sorbet, and shaved ice desserts fit into this category. Ice cream is a cream base that is churned as it is frozen to create a creamy consistency. Gelato uses a milk base and has less air whipped in than ice cream, making it denser. Sorbet is made from churned fruit and is not dairy-based. Shaved ice desserts are made by shaving a block of ice and adding flavored syrup or juice to the ice shavings. Gelatin. Jellied desserts are made with a sweetened liquid, thickened with gelatin or another thickening agent. They are traditional in many cultures. Grass jelly and anen tofu are Chinese jellied desserts. Yokan is a Japanese jelly dessert. In English-speaking countries, many dessert recipes are based on gelatin with fruit or whipped cream added. The vegetarian substitute for gelatin is agar. Marshmallow is also most commonly made with gelatin. Pies and cobblers are a crust with a filling. The crust can be either made from either a pastry or crumbs. Pie fillings range from fruits to puddings. Cobbler fillings are generally fruit-based. Sweet soups. Tong sui, literally translated as sugar water, and also known as tim tong, is a collective term for any sweet, warm soup or custard served as a dessert at the end of a meal in Cantonese cuisine. Tong sui are a Cantonese specialty and are rarely found in other regional cuisines of China. Outside of Cantonese-speaking communities, soupy desserts generally are not recognized as a distinct category, and the term tong sui is not used. Wines. Dessert wines are sweet wines typically served with dessert. There's no simple definition of a dessert wine. In the UK, a dessert wine is considered to be any sweet wine drunk with a meal, as opposed to the white, fortified wines drunk before the meal, and the red fortified wines drunk after it. Thus, most fortified wines are regarded as distinct from dessert wines, but some of the less strong fortified white wines, such as Pedro Ximénez Sherry, are regarded as honorary dessert wines. In the United States, by contrast, a dessert wine is legally defined as any wine over 14% alcohol by volume, which includes all fortified wines and is taxed at a higher